Free trade is good because it connects the world. And that means that the whole world is able to compete with itself. And as a result of that, you actually raise your standards because you feel a much stronger sense of competition, but also you can participate in markets that would otherwise be denied to you. It's open markets in these resources that are required to promote the job creation, the economic growth and the innovation that we all depend on, I think, for our future, and so do a lot of other people who are waiting to be lifted out of poverty. The first thing the US could do is just to do all the things that it's currently practicing, which to some extent send a message that it's not as committed to free trade as I believe it is. I mean, I personally believe that the oil export ban is a bit of an enigma that still exists. When it was introduced as a result of an oil price shock in the 70s. In total, trade liberalisation has added $1.5 trillion to the US economy since the Second World War and made the average American almost 10% better off, so that today middle-class Americans gain more than a quarter of their purchasing power from trade, and that could be more, I would say. And I can tell you here categorically that everything that we mine or drill for is endowed with all the resources we need to meet demand. Says here for decades to come, because that's probably the right thing, but I would say it's well beyond that. I would say it's centuries. I think the difference between being a scientist and an industrialist is that scientists can often take a much longer time to make up their minds. And I don't mean that in a negative way, because you try and build the evidence, you have hypothesis and a counter to that. In an industrialist, you actually can't afford to wait, and so you have to cut through and make calls on things. So we have to embrace the changes that are required to get this engine really humming and build a world which is drawn together and stabilized by free trade. A world where there are opportunities for all and scarcity for none, with a better quality of life, fairly shared, now and in the future. And these are all objectives which I think this chamber and all of us can get behind.